Hi, and welcome to episode 50 of the Noble Character Crafts podcast. My name is Amy, and I am coming to you from eastern Nebraska, where I live on a farm with my husband and our 5 children. Today is Friday, December 28th, 2018. This is a podcast all about my life as a knitter, a crocheter, a hand dyer of yarn, and a sewist. Thank you so much for joining me today. A huge welcome to any new or returning viewers. I hope that you enjoy this episode. You can find me online on Instagram and Etsy at Noble Character Crafts. You can find me on Ravelry at Noble Character. And I also have a group for this podcast in Ravelry under Noble Character Crafts Podcast. In that group, you will be able to find the show notes for this episode as well as previous episodes and several other chatter threads. You can also get in contact with me through my email at noblecharactercrafts@yahoo.com. And I also have included links to all of the places that you can find me in the description box below. I am currently hosting a knit along with the lovely ladies of the Meanwhile at the Castle podcast, and it is just lasting for a few more days until the end of the year. It is the Be My Neighbor Cal, which is a cal that we are hosting for any cardigans that you have made, either knitted or crocheted in any size, and also included with this knit along are any gift or charity projects. So if you have made anything that would apply to this knit along, I would love it if you would head on over to the Ravelry group and enter your objects in the finished objects thread. And I will be pulling one more prize for this knit along the next time I record a podcast at the beginning of January. So please head on over there if you would like to enter. I would love to see what you all are making. Today I am wearing a knitted sweater, but it is not one that I made. This sweater is over 20 years old. I think I got it when I was in high school. It's from J. Crew, and it is a men's sweater. It's a pretty pattern, and I'm kind of tempted to make one, but I already have one, so why would I make it again? But it really is a nice sweater. It's sewn together. Oh, I have a safety pin on there. That's kind of random. Well, anyway, I love this sweater. I have worn it for so long, and it has held up for over 20 years. So just a testimony to how great 100% wool can be and how hard wearing it can be. So anyway, I have definitely gotten my money's worth out of this sweater. I do have one finished object to share with you all. I was able to finish the repair work that I did on these socks. So these are some cabled socks. They were the second pair of socks that I ever made. And they are about 1.5 years old, a little over than that, almost 2 years old, I guess. I should have looked back on my project page to see when I worked on them, except I don't think when I first started making project pages on Ravelry, I don't think that I had gotten in the habit of putting the dates of when I finished projects on there, so I'm not really sure if I have a date as to when I first made these. I had almost worn a hole in these socks. The yarn at the ball of the foot was, just barely hanging on there by a few threads. It was about ready to make a hole in the ball of the foot where I am pretty hard on my socks. So I ripped back the toe on these and knitted them again using this Patent Croy Socks yarn in the gray brown marl colorway. And I just knit for a little bit and then decrease for the toe. So I had just ripped back to a little bit past the place where the yarn was worn thin. And so anyway, this was a quick and easy fix, and hopefully this Patents Croy yarn, I think, is a really sturdy yarn, and I think it will wear a lot better on the ball of my foot where I'm so hard on my socks. So anyway, I'm glad to get those fixed, and hopefully I'll get a lot of more use out of these. Okay, on to works in progress. The first one I have in this Tanny Casey project bag, and it has these cute enamel pins on there from Nice and Knit. And in here is my Sourcebook Chunky cardigan from the Knitted Cable Sourcebook by Nora Gone. And I have made some good progress on this week. So last time I recorded a podcast, I showed you that I hadn't worked on it in a long time on this project, but this is where I was last time I recorded a podcast. There's a cute little progress keeper on there from Amanda of Little Bitty Delights. And I was able to finish this back piece. So the back is all done. And I absolutely love those cables on there. I think they're so beautiful. And I'm really happy with how this is turning out so far. I am using Knit Picks Simply Wool in the Wilbur colorway. This is a bulky weight yarn, 100% eco wool. I am using US size 11 needles, which are 8mm, and I am getting a gauge of 13.5 stitches to 4 inches, which is a little bit tighter gauge. Is that right? I always get confused. The gauge for the pattern is 13 stitches, so I'm a little bit tighter in my stitch gauge than what is required of the pattern, but it is an oversized cardigan, so I'm hoping that that difference won't be an issue. Let's see, this is all knit from the bottom up in pieces, and then it's seamed together. And so, like I said, I finished the back piece there, and I have also finished, since I recorded last, I was able to make this left side. So I just finished this morning, and it worked up pretty quickly. So again, it's also knit from the bottom up, and there's just one cable pattern on this one. And it was a little bit tricky up here near the top because there's 3 different things that you're doing at once. You know, there's the decrease here, and at the same time decrease over here, and at the same time decrease. So anyway, there was a few different things that you're doing all at once, and I really had to pay attention up here where I was decreasing for the arm and the neck. So, but I don't think I messed it up. I think I did it right. It was a little bit tricky once you get up to here towards the top. You're supposed to be decreasing and doing the cables still, I think, but it was a little bit tricky to try to figure out how to do that. But I think the last few rows I didn't do the cables at all because there was only a few stitches on the needles at that point, and there weren't really enough to make a cable. So anyway, I'm really happy with how this is turning out, and it's working up so quickly because of this, you know, bulky weight yarn. And yeah, I'm really excited about it. So I'm going to do the right panel next, and then the 2 sleeves, and seam it all together. And then there's a shawl collar that goes around and a button band. So yeah, I'm gonna hopefully keep working on this and I had put it down for a little while, and I'm hoping not to do that again because I really like staying focused on projects and not forgetting about them. So I'm hopeful that I will be able to continue to work on this and get it done so I can enjoy wearing it this winter. My other work in progress is another pair of socks that I'm repairing, and this is in a project bag that I received in my advent calendar, one of my advent calendars. This was, I think, one of the gifts I received on Christmas Eve. This is adorable sock project bag. Well, that's what I'm using it for. It's got little socks on it, and it's a good size for a sock project. And in here I have my Scrappy socks that I made earlier this year that I had already worked a hole into because I had used my single ply yarn that doesn't have any nylon in it, and I knew that that was an experiment, and it turned out not to be a successful experiment. I worked a hole in the ball of the foot again pretty quickly. So anyway, I did the same thing with these. I ripped back past the hole, like I said, I had been using my Radiant base, which is a single ply, 70% superwash merino, 30% silk. And so again, I don't recommend that for socks. I was just trying it because I had heard that silk can be very strong. So I had heard somebody say that one of their best wearing socks had silk content in it. So that's why I wanted to try it. But I don't think that I think maybe the single ply is one of the reasons why the hole develops so quickly, I think, but I'm not 100% sure. Anyway, it didn't work well for me, so I won't be using my Radiant Base for socks anymore. Anyway, I ripped again past the hole area, and I am just knitting straight stockinette right now. And I'm doing these 2 at a time on Chow needles. All of my needles are Chow needles. These are US size 1 2.25 needles, which gives me a gauge of 9 stitches to 1 inch. And the yarn I'm using is something I also received in one of my advent calendars. This is Crafter Square knitting yarn, and that's all the information I have on it. There's not really any colorway name or anything like that that I can see. But it is 20% wool, 20% polyamide, and 60% acrylic. So I'm hoping that this will be a hard wearing yarn. And I had, you know, these 2 little balls, and so it was perfect to use them for 2 at a time knitting. And it just adds to the crazy colorfulness of these socks already. So anyway, I think I ripped these back a little bit further than my cabled socks because I'm still not ready to decrease for the toe yet, but I ripped out the toe and 3 stripes, which are 10 rows each. So I ripped out 30 rows plus the toe, and on the cabled socks I only ripped back 31 rows total, including the toe. So I think I just wanted to rip back past, you know, the stripe. So maybe that is why I had to rip back a little bit further. Anyway, these are working up well, and I'm hopeful that this will be a good, you know, I'll be able to wear these a lot more after they are fixed as well. Okay, the only other work in progress that I have to share with you this week is one of my Scrappy afghans that I have put a little bit of work into. This is my excavation afghan, which is a pattern by Jana Pahota, I think. I'll put it down below. It is a free pattern on Ravelry, and I really love this pattern. It you just increase at the beginning of each row, and then you leave a tail of your yarn down here, and that will be fringe along, you know, you won't have to weave in any ends. And I really enjoy working on this. It's super simple and mindless, and yeah, I just love it. So every time I finish a project using fingering weight yarn, I put, if I have enough yarn, I put it into this afghan. And so this has every project that I have ever knitted using fingering weight yarn in it. Again, unless I didn't have enough left over. There have been a few colors from projects that I just didn't have enough left over, and so I wasn't able to put them in. But for the most part, everything that I have ever made using fingering weight yarn is in this afghan so far. Right now it is measuring 32 inches wide, and I think I want to make it 48 inches wide. So I have a ways to go before I will be done with this half, and then I believe what I'll do is then make another one the same size, another piece the same size as this, and then I will graft the 2 pieces together. I think that's how I will do it. I'm using the recommended needle size, which are US 2.75 millimeter needles. And yeah, I'm just really, here's a progress keeper from where I was last time I showed you, so I've just worked a couple of inches in there. But I'm really liking how it's working up. I love, this is from the Layer Me cowl that I just finished, and I love seeing this Listens faded set right, you know, worked up right next to each other. I love how that fades into each other. It's pretty. Oh, and I wanted to show, I have just put in, this last one is from the toes that I just showed you, the cabled sock toes, and I thought it was interesting to see that the first stripe from the original pair of cabled socks was way down here at the beginning. This little gray stripe is from the cabled socks when I first finished them. So like I said, every time I finish a project, I put that yarn into this afghan. And so you can see how long ago it was that I had first made those cabled socks. So I've made all these other projects in between then and now. Anyway, it's just really fun. It's like a memory blanket as well, because I can look back and remember all the different projects that I have made. So I really love this, and I highly recommend the pattern. It's so much fun and so easy, and I think it looks really cool. It's called excavation because it really mimics, you know, like layers from an excavation site, and I can really see that, and I love it. Okay, I have a few other new things that I'd like to share with you that I got from my advent calendars. So let's see. Here we have a beautiful, it's unknown, but it's a light blue, light turquoise mixed yarn. It's on a single ply, and it's beautiful. And I have this one. This is from the Yarns of Richard DeVries in the Awesome Blossoms colorway. I've gotten so many Yarns of Richard DeVries, and I have really loved every one of them, so that's so much fun. And then I also got on Christmas Day, along with my other skeins of yarn, I also got this very Christmassy little ball of yarn, and this is also unknown, but it's so pretty. And it also came with this Jingle Bell stitch marker. And then a few of the other goodies that I got were these little like clothespins, and then they are adorned with plants. They're so cute. And for my day 25 of my first advent calendar, I received these 3 hanks of yarn, which are so beautiful. So these two are Koigu, and it doesn't have a colorway name, but the dye lot is P1637. That's these two. And they are 100% merino, I believe. Yes, 100% merino wool. They're so pretty. And then this one looks like it's the same type of yarn, 2-ply, 100% merino as well. But this is from the Yarns of Richard DeVries, and it is a second, so it doesn't have a colorway name. But it's very pretty, and it goes well with these if I decide to put these all into a project together. It would work, they would work well together. So those are so beautiful. So that was from my first advent calendar. And then my second advent calendar, I got this little skein, and this is from Little French Meadow in the 65 Years a Queen colorway, and it's also on gold stellina, which is so pretty. And it came with this little stitch marker, which has, well, I don't know, just like a cute little design on it. And then I also got this sweet ornament, which is out of stone, and I don't know how to pronounce this, but it is the old English Welsh way of saying Merry Christmas. So, so pretty. And then I also got that sock project bag, and I got this book, which is called Be a Llama and Stay a Little Calmer, which is just a sweet little picture book. That it's just so cute. It's really sweet. I like it a lot. And I'm gonna read that to my kids. They'll love it. So cute. And then for my day 25 of that advent calendar, I got my very first sock blank, which I'm so excited about. I've never had a sock blank before, and this one is gorgeous. It's from Hand Dyed by Kate, and I believe the colorway is called Abi, A-B-I. And it's a 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. And I'll unroll it so y'all can see the beautiful colors in it. Oh, I think it's so fun. I'm so excited to knit from a sock blank for the first time. I'm really excited to see how that works up and how I like that. So thank you again to my advent calendar partners, Shelly and Allie. I have really, really loved receiving these and opening these packages every day in the month of December. It really made the month so much more special, and so many people have commented on how I had hosted a mini skein advent swap through the Ravelry group, and so many people that participated have commented on how they enjoyed doing that and how they hope to do it again next year. And so I am planning at this point anyway to do that again next year if people continue to show interest in that. I think it was a lot of fun, and I think everybody that participated had a lot of fun with it as well, from what I have heard. So I'm so glad that you all enjoyed doing that together, and yeah, hopefully we'll be able to do it again next year as well. I am also part of a group on Instagram, a chat group that is formed between quite a few different ladies that either podcast or dye yarn or are designers, or, well, we're all knitters. And it is a group that's focused on encouraging kindness in our community, and it's just a lovely group of ladies, and I'm honored to be a part of that little chat group. And we decided to do a Secret Santa swap this year, and so I wanted to share with you a few of the goodies that I received from my not-so-secret Santa swap partner, who was Emily of the Meanwhile at the Castle podcast. She's also known as Salt City Knits on Instagram. And I am just so flabbergasted by the wonderful goodies that I received from her, and I wanted to share with you all a few of the things that she sent to me. The first one just made my jaw just dropped when I opened this, because I thought it was so clever and special. So you can see it's just a tree trunk that's been carved, and it has these two doors on it, and it's a little nativity scene. So here's Joseph with a staff and Mary praying, and little baby Jesus and a star. Isn't that so special? I think that's so cool. And it just sits up so nicely. It's so beautiful. I absolutely love it. I think that's so special. And then the next gift also made my jaw drop, because I have never received a hand knit item before. I've given lots of gifts of handmade items, but I've never received any hand knits. I'm pretty sure I've never received a hand knit item. And Emily made this hat for me. I'm just so honored and touched that she made this for me. It is so beautiful. I forget the pattern and designer, but I'll put it down below because she mentioned it in their last podcast. It's so beautiful. I'll put it on so you can see the fit of it is just lovely. I think it's so cute. I love it. Isn't it great? And I love that pom-pom. Isn't it fun? Oh, I just adore it. I'm so thrilled with it. You can even roll up the brim if I wanted a bit of a tighter fit, which is also nice. It's so well made. It's so beautiful. It's on her DK weight yarn base. Oh, it's so pretty. I absolutely love it. Thank you so much, Emily, for making me something. I think it's so special. I'm just so happy with that. And then she also sent me some yarn. So she has the Yarn Brewery Yarn Company, and she sent me this beautiful skein. So gorgeous. It's called Snowflakes, and it's on her classic sock base, 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. So it has this natural base, and then it's speckled with blue and turquoise and teal. It's so beautiful. And then she also sent me this sweet mini hank as well, which is gorgeous. So it's like this pinkish purple, real light base, and then it's speckled with gold and reds and blues. So pretty. Those would look really good together too, if I decided to put them into socks or something like that. So pretty. Thank you so much, Emily. I love everything you sent to me. It's all so special, so thank you so much. So this is the last podcast I will be recording in 2018, of course, and I thought it would be fun just to I think last year I did a bit of a review of everything that I had made in 2017. And so I thought it would be fun to do that again, to look back at all of the different things that I have made in 2018. So in 2018, I think from what I have calculated, I think I was able to make 80 different knitted or crocheted items. So that's pretty cool. It's encouraging to look back and think, wow, I made 80 things. So I made 8 cardigans, 7 ornaments, 2 cowls, 12 dishcloths, 9 pairs of socks, 7 shawls, 5 hats, 16 dish towels, 5 blankets. Well, I know that I didn't make 5 blankets, but I've at least finished 5 blankets. This one that's on my bed right back here, I just finished that in 2018, but I know I started it quite a while before then. 1 knitted tee, 1 sweater, 1 poncho, 1 coin purse, 1 baby dress, 1 pair of fingerless mitts, 2 pairs of slippers, and 1 toy. And of all of those 80 things, 57 of them were gifts, either for my children or for friends or family. So that's really good to know as well, that over half of what I have made have been gifts, which is nice, I guess. And yeah, so I'm really excited about, it's just really encouraging to look back and think, wow, that is really awesome to be able to make so many things and to be able to give so many things that I have made away. I really love doing that. So, and then I also wanted to go over the Make 9 challenge that is hosted by Home Row Fiber Company, I think. It is just probably many of you are familiar with it, but it's just a challenge for anybody that would like to participate to think about which 9 projects you would like to make in 2019. And so I compiled a list of things that I would like to make, and these are all projects that at this point, I really, really want to make. There's no question about whether I want to make them or not, but I did do this Make 9 challenge in 2018, and I only made 3 of the things that I had on my Make 9 list. So there's no pressure that I'm putting on myself to make these 9 things, but at this point, these are the 9 things that I am really excited about making, so I thought I would just go over them really quickly. So the first item on my list is the Julkeveld mittens by Skein, and these have been on my, I wanted to make these for over a year. I know that I wanted to put them on my Make 9 for 2018, but there wasn't, I think they were still a mystery knit at that point, and so there wasn't a picture available for them, and so, the Make 9 challenge, you put the 9 pictures up on the photo that you post on Instagram, and so anyway, I remember thinking, oh, I would like to put these on there, but there's no photo, so I guess I'll pick another project. My plan for those mitts is to use this Knit Picks palette yarn in black and cream. And I was just going to do it in these 2 colors, but I might also, in the original pattern, the cuff is done in a contrasting color, and I may use this Garnet Heather for the cuff because I want it to go with another project on my Make 9 as well. So I may use these 3, or I may only use these 2. I'm not 100% sure yet. I also want to make the metamorphic sweater, which is a child's sweater, and that is going to be for my eldest son, who is the only one of my 5 children who has not yet received a hand knit sweater. I actually made a sweater intended to be for him, but it turned out too small, so it ended up fitting my daughter instead. But anyway, this beautiful pattern is by Lisa K. Ross, and I am planning on doing it in the same colors that are shown in the picture. So using my own hand-dyed yarn, but in the same color scheme as that. The next item on my list is the Rhubarb Bidou by Diana Walla, which is a stranded colorwork headband, and I would like to make that to coordinate with the Julkeveld mittens, so that's why I may use the 3 colors. So again, I want to use these 3 colors in that headband so that it will coordinate with the mittens. And I also want to make another pattern by Diana Walla, which is the Stoneham poncho, but I love the collar on the Stoneham poncho, and I love the color work, but I really want to see if I can figure out a way to make it into a sweater. So I would just like to separate for the sleeves, and I don't think it would be too hard to figure out. You know, if it fits over my shoulders, then I can just separate for the sleeves and knit it straight down. I think that's what I'm going to try to do. I'm hoping that I can. And that is made using DK weight yarn, so I'm planning to use my own hand-dyed yarn for that project as well. And I'm planning to do that in pretty similar colors to what is in that photo as well. I want the main color to be black, and then the color work to maybe be red and cream. So it would be kind of similar to the colors that she has in her design. Okay, the next item on my list is the Minerva mittens by Elizabeth of Solapalooza Knits, and I have wanted to make these mittens ever since I first saw them. They're such a gorgeous design, and I'm super excited to make those as well, though I haven't decided what yarn I want to use for that. The next project on my list is the Stripified Shawl by Stephen West. And I made my first Stephen West pattern in 2018, the Doodler Shawl, and I absolutely loved making that pattern. It was so much fun to make, and I'm really excited to make another Stephen West pattern. And I've actually had the yarn for that project in a project bag back there on my table for months. I'm gonna go grab it really quickly. So I have had this beautiful project bag, which is from Mary Ann of Rock Islander. I absolutely love this project bag, and I've had all of the yarn that I have planned to put into the Stripified Shawl in this bag for quite a long time. And let's see if I can show you. In here I have lots of different scraps of pinks and purples and shades, you know, in the pink and purple family. So I have so many little bits and bobs of pinkish purple yarn in here that I am planning to put into that shawl. And I've added some of the minis that I got from my advent calendars that would kind of go along with that color scheme. So I'm really excited to make that shawl at some point, but I don't know when that will be. Okay, the next one is the Brioche Luscious Shawl by Andrea Mowry. And I am planning to make that in mainly blacks and white, maybe some gray as well. But that is going to be for a gift for a friend at church. Then I also would like to make the Sparkling Cider Hat by Woolen Vine. And that includes using mohair and also adding beading to knitting, which I have never knit with mohair yet. And I have never added beading to any of my knitted work before, so I would really like to try both of those things. And I would like to coordinate that Sparkling Cider Hat along with the Minerva mittens. So again, I'm not really sure what color of yarns I want to use for those 2 projects, but I'd like them to coordinate with one another. And the last item on my list is the Silky Alpaca Lace Wrap Cardigan. And I really think that this would be a staple garment that I can have in my wardrobe. It's by Cicely Glawick McDonald and Pam Allen. And I'm planning to make that in my Bare Lambs colorway. So just my bare undyed yarn. And I think that would be just a great item to have in my wardrobe to go with so many of my outfits. And I really love the look of that cardigan. I think it is really beautiful and flattering looking. So anyway, those are my Make 9 plans, and I thought it would just be fun to share those with you all. Okay, the last thing I have to share with you is every time I record a podcast, I like to share a set of 3 hanks of yarn from my Etsy shop that I think work well together, and I'm super, super excited to share with you 2 new colorways. So here is my set of 3 for this week, and I'm so excited about these. So this first one is a new colorway I am so excited about. I received an email yesterday from a wonderful customer of my shop, and she said, "Have you seen the new 2019 Pantone color of the year?" And it is called Living Coral, and she said, "I think you should make a colorway to match the Pantone color for the year." And so this is what I came up with, and I'm going to call this colorway Living. And it's a hard color to photograph, but it's showing up pretty accurately there. It might be a little bit redder on screen than it is in person, but I'm really happy about this. I'm really excited about it. Coral is one of my favorite colors, and I love it. So thank you so much for suggesting that I make this colorway on my yarn, and yeah, I'm super excited to start offering this in the shop for 2019. Well, I'm going to put it in the shop today, so it should be there now. And anyway, I hope that you all like it. And the next colorway is also a new colorway that I haven't shown on the podcast yet. This is my Kindness colorway. And I had mentioned last time I recorded that I'm going to be casting on a new test knit, and I haven't cast it on yet, but I'm planning to do that either tonight or tomorrow. So I'm going to be using this colorway in my next project. So this is a natural base, and then it has lots of different colored speckles in it. There's turquoise, greens, a few different shades of green, some bright pink, and then there's some blue in there as well. There's a little bit of purple or indigo colors. There's just lots of different colors in there. The different specks kind of mix with one another and create new colors, and I'm really happy with how this colorway has turned out. I am also in the process of setting up this colorway to go towards a charity in honor of kindness. As I said, that group of ladies that I am part of on Instagram is encouraging, we're just there to encourage one another to promote kindness. And since this is my kindness colorway, I want to donate the proceeds, some of the proceeds, to go towards a charity that promotes kindness in some way. I am still researching what charity I want to donate to, but I thought I would just mention that you can be on the lookout. I'll be sure to announce on Instagram when I have set that up to start donating to a specific charity, and I will talk about it here on the podcast as well, and I will also list it in the Etsy listing so that anybody that buys it knows what charity part of the proceeds for this colorway will be going to. And then the last colorway in this grouping is my Refreshes colorway, which is just a deep teal, and that is the coordinating color for the Pantone color of the year as well. So those look really nice together. They're complementary. So anyway, here again is the set of 3 for this week. And all of my colorways are available on all 9 of my bases in my Etsy shop at all times. So please feel free to head on over there if you would like to check out any of the colorways I have to offer. So we had a wonderful Christmas. I hope that you all had a wonderful Christmas as well. And it is snowing today. It's been snowing all day, and we're getting a bit of accumulation, so that's super exciting. I love winter. It's my favorite, and especially when it snows, I love it so much. So I'm super happy about that. Let's see. We've had a pretty low-key week. We had family over on Christmas Day and we made prime rib, which was so great. It was the first time I'd ever made prime rib and it turned out really well, and it was such a yummy treat to have. And I made lots of, on Christmas Eve, my kids and we made lots of different treats. I made peanut brittle, and I made English toffee, peanut butter cookies with a Hershey Kiss in the middle, and we had sugar cookies with frosting, and we dipped pretzels in white chocolate bark as well. So anyway, we had all those yummy treats to share on Christmas Day as well. So anyway, we had a really great time. My husband's birthday is actually also on Christmas Day, and so that's always kind of an added extra thing to celebrate on Christmas, so that was fun as well. But other than that, this week we've been pretty low-key. I haven't done a ton of schoolwork with the kids. I homeschool our 5 kids, but we've been taking it pretty, I don't usually take them, like we don't take time off during the summer or anything like that, and we've done a little bit of schoolwork this week, but just not a lot. We've taken it pretty easy, so it's been nice to have a bit of a break. Other than that, I think there's no real news that I have to share with you all, so I just really appreciate you joining me today. I hope that you enjoyed this episode. If you did enjoy it, please feel free to give me a thumbs up and subscribe to this channel if you would like. I would appreciate that so much. I hope that you all have a wonderful week ahead. Thanks again for joining me. Bye-bye.